Hello! Welcome to Friday's Live. I'm not Ollie. Nope, Ollie looks different today. I am helping out while Ollie is away off on some vacation time, exploring the world. We'll hear all about it when they get back. But until then, hello, I am Marissa. I haven't been on the live streams for quite some time, just because I'm over at Studio Central, but pleasure to be here today and help with the intro. For our live streams, we do it live from Upbeat Artworks, and Upbeat Artworks is a program of Artbeat Studio. It's a social enterprise allowing all the artists that go through the program to have a space to sell their work or to volunteer or to work. And then it really helps in that way that you can really just have that power behind the art that you're making. And Artbeat Studio, we combine art and mental wellness together. So I always say busy hands makes your mind a little bit clearer. So that's what we do here today. Kate is going to be doing some great work with Posca pens, Posca paint markers. We'll be doing some art to celebrate graduation because it's the time of season. But before we do that, we will have a little bit of an intro and a feature on a specific artist. So let's flip the camera around because I'm doing this on a new phone. Oh, I have it here. Perfect. Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We have special guest Faye here with the gorgeous new hair. Hi, Faye.
Hi.
And then Kate. We know Kate. Hi. So are you doing our intro today, Faye, with
Yes,
our artist? Lovely.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing a feature on Lionel Daniel Braconnier. Okay, and he was born in Winnipeg in 1965, and he began drawing wolves, eagles, mountains, and trees in grade school. He's self-taught. In his teens, he was able to sell his drawings of Conan the Barbarian. He graduated from R.B. Russell School and became a landscaper, then worked at Red Sucker Lake Airport and provided camp support for a gold mine. He was inspired by Indigenous artists he came into contact with, but received no institutional encouragement for his art before enrolling in Artbeat. Artbeat was the first to give me courage and inspiration, he says. I experienced good relationships with the other artists and a compassionate atmosphere that helped me get my mind back. Lionel works with pen and ink mostly, felt marker, crayon, and gold stick. His mandala-like designs focus on an allegorical story of the moon's relationship with the earth, with earth as heaven-like and the moon as hell. He enjoys images of pyramids and ancient worlds, reads the Bible, and sees his art as a way to bring Lucifer back to God through forgiveness. Lionel has written an autobiography about his early experiences, which he decorates with an eager and elegant variegated alphabet that he has invented. Still fascinated with nature, he has made a series of ceramic trees glazed in different colors, some containing holes through which a light can be shone. Art gives me joy, says Lionel, making it almost like walking into a church. So that's his autobiography. Now we're going to see a piece of his art.
Yes, we have four. We have a few pieces here. So here, hanging in the back of Upbeat Artworks, right when you walk in over our pottery wall here, there are these really nice metallic pieces that are very geometric. He actually was working on this style a bit at Studio Central on paper, and then one day came with these 3 large canvases fully done with these metallic markers. So those are there right in the back, and we have other one right here at the front. I'm moving you on a tripod. This piece here, which I love, it's so bright and colorful. That yellow really pops, and we have some circles in there, so it's kind of like similar art to what's back there, but it's done as a square, really bright colors, and that metallic marker too, which makes it cool. It's just like looking at it from different angles makes it kind of stand out and shine. Nice. Alrighty, Kate, let's get painting.
We're ready to get to something, and what I decided to do today is, that's not my regular chair. I need to get used to this one.
Okay, that's fine.
Shorter than. Okay, so I I had a little bit of a preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like I'm overwhelmed to the point. Yesterday, I started 12 preparations.
Oh!
I ended with replacing like half of them, then I removed some of that, and it was a little bit of what can I do so everyone is actually getting something done, because the topic is not super, well, let's say people who have children who graduate, they are all there, all thinking about things like that. But for some people who struggle with mental health condition, that might be an issue. And we can talk about where it can come from. So as an example, people who have mental health conditions go through stress differently. And when they go through a period of something such as exams or any test, like for myself, any test would be too much. So some people would handle it well. I was not handling tests that well. And it feels like each time I took a test, I forgot everything right before. So I don't know what was coming out, but some were really good. And I was handling university exams, and it was always really bad because university program was overstuffed. So I did not finish my complete 5 years, and I was studying for 4 years, and people might decide that the program was not as like fitting a lot because it's 5 years, but actually 5 years is for everyone there. But people who graduated, they could follow up. It's just longer, but the program by itself for myself was so overwhelming. It was too many things. I completely forgot what I learned. I started learning German. It was something that I could call. I don't know anything about it now. Even what I knew, it was so little, and I was never successful with certain disciplines or things that like where I had to memorize anything. Starting from daycare, my mom was coming asking teachers, please, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before other kids know, please let me know if we need to learn something by heart. Even a small thing. It was taking forever, and then, I don't know, it was barely anything I could remember. You know, people have different things that go on their lives, and it's not always mental health condition, it's a personality. So I was never remembering lyrics, or I could read something, but my focus just does not spread there. Spraying focus. I don't want to.
No, memory is hard for me. I can't remember. Tests are not my friend. Much more of like a paper writer for myself. But even now, I'm like, I don't want to stay up and write papers. So kudos to anybody who is in there. Studio Central has a phone call in my pocket, so I'm going to answer that one.
So yeah, for myself, it was 4 years, and then we left Ukraine for certain reasons, and we moved to Israel. And then everything new language, so it's learning new language, and then to actually continue my education, to become a teacher in Israel, I had to study for 2 more years, but in Hebrew. So studying in Hebrew on that level would not be an option for me for them. So I applied to the university, but I paid money and everything, but it stopped right there. So instead of that, I took a course that was way shorter, and it was covered partially. I didn't have to pay that much money for that. So I took education that was completely different from what I had been doing before. So it was something totally different. And it was accounting level 1, 2. I found a job, and then I moved to Canada, realizing I totally forgot my English. So I had to restore my English. And while we'll learn something new, we forget something different. And it was just coming back to something I had known really well, and then completely forgetting it, and then coming back to what I had known before. So we did not have graduation ceremonies similar to what are in Canada. So it was completely new to me. And Maytar graduated last year from high school, from Tech Walk, and took postgraduate course. And now after postgraduate, it's also a graduation, but it's different. I'm still figuring it out because I don't know how to celebrate because the graduation was there last year.
Well, I'm already graduated pretty much. I'm just getting a second.
So this is important because it's a preparation for college, and Mater got a gold medal in skills competition, which it was the Manitoba competition. And I had all these ideas about what we can do. Most of them are basic and taken from clipper images or from conversations. So I just want to introduce you who is here today. So Maytar is my daughter, and she was helping at Artbeat, and she was working last summer at 62 Albert. Faye's here, you know Faye already. Faye was participating last week. And also there's Megan, and Megan is taking photographs today.
Hello, if you heard a little clicky click and that's me.
So this rock is reserved for Megan.
Oh, thank you.
If she decides to join. Or after, and we'll see what is happening. And then what I brought a completely different variety of materials. So the media we work with are paint markers. They're all different paint markers. But what we work on can be different and can give ideas, not to start from the blank page. Blank what? Blank something.
Like canvas.
Let's say canvas paper. Okay, so first of all, I have this resin piece, and it has a lot of bubbles, so I decided it's good to paint it over and then resin on top. So that's something we can work on. I have several rocks that are different. This one says Inspire, and it already has resin on it, so Inspire was added after resin. And then it's possible to work with paint markers on top of resin. Not everyone has the touch, because if it's not really smooth, the paint marker can have a little hard time to go through the line. So it's a little bit of a different feel. So for someone who wants to try or to just likes this technique, this is this rock. Then there are paint pour, which is this one. And I already signed it Winnipeg Rocks, but then I decided, oh, if someone wants to add some detail for graduation, something of your own, that's a possibility. This is a quick sketch of this bear. So this bear is my favorite for now, and Major's favorite. So it was Major's favorite first, and then it became my own favorite.
So cute.
So was it your favorite?
Yes, I chose it.
It's adorable.
Maytar chose it. So I made a little sketch for someone who wants to color in, if you don't have any ideas. And I have this other piece that I found image on clip art as well. It was way more interesting than what I did here. So it's just done with white, and it's possible to just color in and add the background. This is, again, it's a paint board that can be selected for any of the ideas. This piece, if someone wants to use this. I have the pots from Dollarama. This is a clay. I bought clay that was not very successful. So I decided to just resin it and draw something. I can drill a hole afterwards. I can close this or keep it. So there are possibilities, and it's possible to work on either of the sides and then make a resin layer. So that's for, I don't know, do you want to work on something like that? And just considering that this is the hanging piece, so that could...
Well, I feel like I'd want to work on a rock first.
Okay. This was one painted at Studio Central as a figure drawing exercise. And then I just added a dress because it had, the image did not have anything. So I just added a dress, and I added the a graduation cap. There's so many names for it. I was reading through yesterday. I went on Wikipedia, Google. I was losing track of things. I went through different mottos. I'm not sure if someone wants to talk about mottos. So we have Megan, who might want to share anything that is related or not related to what we're talking about, and is taking photographs of the progress.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so we keep the discussion.
I guess
going.
I'm talking about things. I don't know what yet, but we'll see.
And then for yourself, again, there is a couple of things I started. They're not related to graduation, but there is a piece that can be repainted or added to. I have just a tree and the sun, and I have nothing else there.
The way that that relates to graduation, though, is that you're done. You get to go out and experience nature again. So that's how that relates back to. I'm just going to connect it.
And if you want to use this one, I can pass it to you, and you can work on it at home if you don't want to use it here. So I can just put it in the pile. Then there is this piece. It was a combination of mediums, and it's very uneven. But to work on uneven surface with a paint marker might be a challenge for some. So it's a challenge. And then we have rocks, we have canvases, and I brought nothing that is just paper, except of this other side of this image. And we have this figure drawing example, which can be remade. So I can, I will show it better.
That was so funny. Yes. There we go.
So it can be remade. I can add a dress, and I know usually the short dresses are recommended. And then graduation, well, there are different names for it as well. Robe.
Yep,
The gown is the primary for what I've heard, but there are better names for some people. They're all different. So when we were graduating from high school, we did not have, like, the ceremony was there, but I do not remember having anything that was like memorable. So we did have certificates and all kind of things that were there, like medals for some people, but it was not really the same tradition as it is here in Canada, and it was very new to me. But as I noticed, some students choose to not even wear a robe if they don't want to, and it's always a choice. You don't have to. And sometimes it's like for everyone, but I don't know. Some students just choose not to. So my knowledge is very limited because I did not grow up in Canada. And that's why I rely on Wikipedia, Google, and other people who have their own experiences. So anything from here, just choose what you like, and I will work with what's left.
Guess I'll come join you on this side. The camera's aiming right.
So this can be completely redone as well. And I did not, I just left it the way I felt yesterday, probably. So anyway, what's your choices? And I would just remind what are the symbols that I found on the internet. There are mottos for different high schools, universities, or slogans. So flourish as a University of Manitoba, right? And University of Winnipeg, I'm trying to remember. Oh my goodness, I'm so not, my memory again, you know how many times I read it? I still cannot memorize it. That's why I say it's hard for me to memorize things.
Look it up.
I do remember Tech Walk. And I know it was was it a do go? Oh, no, it's actually the Tech Walk.
It's think green.
Think green, act gold,
be
be a hornet. Yeah. Then it was the conversation about a new motto. or was it a slogan or a motto?
The same thing, whatever. University of Winnipeg, it says, let light and truth flourish.
Yeah, so and why am I forgetting it? Okay, so we are working on, okay, so Faye chose a rock, and then the colors, if we choose browns, there is this brown which is way lighter, and also I have the paper towels here, so you can try it on a paper towel first, or, oh, what am I doing? I can bring paper to try it on, because when you keep working with a paint marker, it gets lighter and lighter. Right, so
Is it easier to like prime this first, or is it easier to do this?
that depends. I did not prime it because I do not prime anything by myself in this case. But for many artists, putting the first layer of paint or priming it and adding paint, let's say it would be obligatory. As it is a habit and it looks better for many, but I was working a lot on bare rocks.
Yeah, because I'm having trouble getting it to go on there. So.
Alright. So we have this for cleaning paint markers, because some of them are not perfectly clean, and sometimes they clog a little bit from what you're doing, especially if it's on top of a paint or something. So I will just bring here. A couple of pieces of scrap paper so you can try the paint markers. So some of them leak, that's why I say sometimes it's never your fault that they leak. It could be the weather, it could be the last person who used it, because I was bringing it, because if you start pressing it goes out in big quantities, and sometimes on the rock it's hard to get used to it because the rock is not really flat. On a flat surface, that makes it makes it easier. But again, my paint markers are not as much as I try to buy new packages. It just hard to keep up with it. So what we have here is Posca, Tuli Art, Artistro partial sets. We have Tombows, and this one is a microline superior. So these are the white outline or detail markers. And then we have the metallic, they're not actually considered to be metallic, how are they called?
No, it actually does say metallic colors.
These are metallic colors. No, I'm thinking
well,
about
these are kind of
Posca.
glittery.
Glitter, that's right.
Yeah, these are glittery.
And we have the other set there, and these ones, these are the older ones with newer ones, so be careful when you use that big package, because these started leaking.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so. Okay, so what am I working on? Okay. I can work on a dress for a little bit. Okay, so this one, okay, I can work on this. Okay. So let's see. So I'm using the Tombow marker, and you can buy them on Amazon, and there are packages of 3. So it's a little bit cheaper than Posca. People who are used to Poscas, they might be very upset sometimes because it works completely differently. It doesn't give the same shade.
Well, they're not meant to be markers, I don't think. Combos are just like fine liners for like regular art, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I find that they do not smudge. That's what I'm going for. Something that does not smudge when I resin them. And then they do not leave the lines the same way they can you really put on surface. If it's, well, on some surfaces they work better, on some surfaces they do not really work perfectly. I don't know, for someone it would be hard to use. Okay. So graduation cap. Graduation cap. Okay, so I know the sashes is usually if the sash is there, it represents certain university or college, and it's the stole or sash or how people call it. But in different countries, there are different. Like I read a lot today, plus what everyone was. Like we had some discussions about what people wear, and it could be. It depends on the school, what the school decision is, and what the symbols are, and that's again, it's the decision of the school or the university. And I learned about the different colors that were for different occupations, professions. And yeah, again, it's not something I grew up with, and it's completely new to me. And what I know that in different countries, colors are completely different too.
Well, another thing is that there's a difference between what you graduate in and what your photos end up being for your graduation. So a lot of times you might have one color that you wear for your actual graduation, and then another color altogether for any graduation photos that you do, whether they're official school photos or at an outside source. That's another consideration. And so a lot of people think, oh, it's all, a blue, or it's all a green, or it's all a red, but then, or the black, the traditional black, just depending on, and it can vary based on what you're graduating for. There can be different colors that relate back to different professions, so different degrees that you've received. If you graduated with honors, you would have a different kind of a sash, that kind of thing as well. So it's pretty cool, actually, when you look at some of the historical meanings of the colors.
Yeah, and if you use Wikipedia, be ready that there's too many countries to learn about, and you need to actually just settle for something shorter than that. When it's too much, I just get lost in everything, so it's easier to just Google search sometimes something really short and simple. Wikipedia gives a lot of information, so yeah, it's a special talent to not to just skip things
and not go down a rabbit hole occasionally.
right.
Sometimes it can be fun though.
Yeah, it's nice to read, but then I don't remember anything I read.
It can be a personal boundary though to not like to choose not to go down a rabbit hole can be a very rewarding self-care and self-boundary. So it's a cool concept. So I'm sure you can see like this. I'm going with the bright pink here. It's a splatter, but the reason for that is because I'm channeling my inner Elle Woods. For anybody that remembers Legally Blonde, at the end of the film, when okay, I'm a spoiler. I apologize, but like in the graduation scene, I guess you wouldn't have her going in if she's not going to graduate, right? But when she graduates, like there's this whole like she gets super hyper and happy. She's like, "We did it!" And I'm gonna put "We did it" on here in the bright pink, and just because honestly, for me, graduation has always been more of a sad subject. It's not something that I see as happy because for me, I didn't get to graduate from high school. I ended up getting a GED because my situation at the time, I wasn't able to remain in the area where I was able to continue my schooling. So I had to rush and get a GED so that I could finalize my school effort and not stick around in the country actually that I was in at the time. So for me, I didn't get to participate in all of the pomp and circumstance of graduation, and I always kind of got sad whenever I think about it. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, what is a happy scenario that I can think of in relation to graduation? And the first thing that came to mind was Elle Woods and her "We did it." And I think that empowerment, like in those films, I think is very, very powerful for a woman and for somebody that is typically thought of, stereotypically like peppy, preppy, happy, pink, to be able to have the power and capacity that Elle Woods and Reese Witherspoon herself to carry that power is very, very important for young women especially, and young men, and all those who identify otherwise, to see, to witness, because you have the strength and the power and the capacity and the ability to become amazing in whatever it is that you choose to do with your world and your life and your education. So I think it's amazing. So anyway.
Yeah, and I never watched the movie, so it's really, but I watched other movies which involve graduation, and then what we had there, where I grew up, we had a ceremony, but the ceremony was not the main thing, because for us the main thing would be the celebration by itself.
Yeah.
And they're different, they're separate dates.
Yeah.
So it would be just coming to school and celebrating and everything, and there was something like a ceremony there as well, a short when teachers were talking, but you know how it just gets forgotten. I don't know, I was never thinking that you never think that you can forget things, but you forget when years pass. And I don't know why, I probably was a little bit, it was not easy, because when you graduate, you start thinking a lot about what's going on and what to do, and I must confess, I was a little bit lost of what was going on, because I wanted to go and study something that did not work out. and then I applied to the university. And the day I learned that I was taken, oh my God.
Words. What are words? We don't know.
Chosen. I actually was chosen to study at the university. And I cannot say it was a very good feeling for me because it was something that was not my first choice. But
So
it
you
was
did
something
feel
that
taken
was.
by it. You felt like you were captured by it if it wasn't your first choice. So that you used the right word in a roundabout way.
Well, it was something that my parents were doing all their life. They're teachers, and it's following their footsteps to actually become a teacher. But for myself, I was not imagining myself to become a teacher. I was actually thinking I could take part of the program for usage, not all of it. So I was thinking maybe I can have another kind of job that would be interpretation, like an interpreter or a translator, or working differently, because I don't know, I just was not really inspired by the teacher's job for them. I was inspired, but I was not sure if I could actually make it, because I saw how my mom was working and how my father was working, and I did not see myself there because I did not think of myself as a teacher at all. And then through the university, I was noticing that there were certain things that were not mine completely, and I was not thinking that I could become a great teacher, because there are too many things that I hated doing. I hated writing very detailed plans, and they're not just plans, they're plan conspect, which means it's a lot of writing to do before each class you have. And for myself, it was just a terrorizing idea, which I was supposed to do if I start working at school or something. And then my experience at school was not super enjoyable because of how hard it was for me. And some subjects were very easy, but some of them were just not working out. So for myself, graduation would be like, or I can get more of what I am, not what the school says, because the school gives too much of what I don't actually need in my life, right? Like some people still laugh that they do not use math in their lives or something like that, right? I never liked math too much. And it was a surprise for me at high school, which actually I liked some of it. But I had a teacher who was also tutoring. So I took some tutoring because I was so much behind. I missed some classes at school, and I don't know, it was just something I could not really focus on too much until I had tutoring and a personal example, not just in the class. And then I actually understood it very easily. So that depends on the teacher, and this teacher was actually passionate about their subject and actually was an excellent teacher, and it just happened. And I actually liked that one topic, and I understood the other ones, but I completely forgot right after exams. Don't ask me anything about equations or stuff like that. I don't want to think about it. So when I was going to the university, I was considering that I don't want any technical knowledge at all, and nothing that I should memorize. We still had lectures that we had to actually memorize, and my memory was not taking that much information. And till now, if I need to do something and I remember it, and if it's too much, my mind, I notice that, like when I feel overwhelmed, I completely forget about things for some reason, and then it comes back when I feel like I can, and then I start doing it, and then I get into it. But this process is not as simple to me. and it was there for some time already, and it was bothering me a lot. But, okay, so should I try better?
Why not?
Okay, I'll take one of these browns. So again, my experiences are not everyone's experiences, but for myself, I should keep my own advice, right? I need to test before. Shake, 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 and clean. Okay, so this is one brown. We have two different browns here, and we have this tan, and we have the cream, which, how was it called? Yeah, so there are instructions here: shake, when, push, paint, recap, and then keep going the same way. So each time I take the paint marker, it's what I actually do. So you need to actually open it and press on the tip, but it needs to be upside down. And then you can try it on a piece of paper. And you know, I do not think about these steps coming from here, because I don't notice them even. So I just go from how the marker works. I try it myself. It works for me this way, and it's an individual thing. So I don't teach people what they can easily understand and do. So it's not necessarily common sense. It can be just learning from what you see, what works for you. But learning from experience is easier to me, because learning from someone's talking, it's extremely hard for me to take things from hearing. And it's probably something that I have been struggling since I moved to Israel, and then I moved to Canada. Too many things in foreign languages, and it's just a habit of not having it all, because I just don't know, and I don't focus on what people are talking about around myself. And also voices, plus they take a lot of my attention and focus out. So I can still hear them intensely. And you know what? This task, as an example, you see, I started and I left it. Why? I don't know, it just does not feel like I want to work on it. And you know, actually getting motivation for something, it's not that it doesn't work sometimes, it just doesn't want to go any further. I can even pass it to someone because I have a lot of pieces that are unfinished. And last week I started so many things that I stopped doing right away because they just did not work out for me, or I couldn't. Like I was trying to do same exact thing, and I was stopping, and how many things I just dropped because I couldn't move from where it was. And it was an action. I couldn't settle well enough, so it means relax and actually get motivation, which means I start doing, and you know, many people think they know if they can do it or not beforehand. I sometimes don't. I sometimes sit down, I start doing it, and it doesn't work. And I get up, even if it works out, I get up and do something different, come back. Yeah, so it does not always work the same way for everyone. And I was never a person who could sit down and actually do everything from the beginning to the end. I need to step out, I need to come back, I need to do several things in between, and it just not for everyone. Again, I know like, how many people would just sit down, settle, and do everything they want, and it's not a problem. Okay. And then I could use the white outline here for this scroll. What is here? Diploma? What should be here for a teddy bear? So yeah, I could say the advice for people who are used to like do everything from the first time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work at all. So there is no habit of actually pursuing doing something that does not work out for you. So there are subjects I just left behind because I never liked them. And they were extremely hard for me because I could not understand them logically completely, like physics. Like I could never, I was trying, it never, and I could never memorize formulas. So for me, math, chemistry, long formulas, and everything was not easy at all. So I was glad that when I went to university, I did not have the subjects that had anything like that. So long formula or anything to memorize. But I was surprised on how many things I had to memorize there, but they're like not formulas. They're other things. But I don't know, it just did not work out for me in my life. But when it came to new languages, it's where people expect you to actually have a lot of repetitions until you remember something. And you know how many words you need to actually, how many times you need to hear each word to actually remember it and where it comes from.
I feel like everybody sort of has their path that they're drawn to. You know, we find things that we love doing and things that just we don't resonate with. And I think that, you know, even if, you know, if you graduate knowing, like feeling like you know exactly what you want to do, it's okay if you end up changing one day. It's okay if the plan changes, if the situation changes. It's okay to change your mind. And it's okay to put the work in and to change it. I know a lot of people are fearful, like, oh, if I graduate from this, I have expectations that I'm going to become whatever. But if life does anything, it is change and adapt. And it forces us to, because we get used to something and then, okay, well, we need to grow. As human beings, we require growth, and sometimes that means we're getting spiraled into a new scenario, and that's okay too.
It's after 2. I gotta go.
Thank you, Faye. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Faye.
Thank you much. Do you want to have your own rocks? You can take them home, unless you want them to go in the
They
garden.
can go in the garden.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll varnish them here. All right. Thank you.
Take care, Faye. I'll see you later.
Okay.
And we have someone here, and I can ask if Chloe wants to join. No? Okay. All right. And I have several rocks here that anyone can work on if you want to. Okay, so what I got here is this, and you see how much time it takes to actually talk about things, and that's what's done here. So that's why I'm used to when I draw or paint, I usually do not talk about anything because that's what's done. I don't know if it's possible to see it here. I'll just show it closer, and maybe I can, Megan, how are you feeling about taking a photograph?
I can do that in just a moment.
I can make ears bigger. There we go. Here's a bigger. Then we have this piece right here. Yesterday, you know, there are days when you can tell your head to think, but it doesn't want to. You know, when you try to come up with ideas, They just don't come. And I feel like my mind is completely blank. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. Usually I just switch to something different if I cannot do something and my mind does not give me the option. I just do something different. I do what I can. And that's how I got used to, let's say, function, because through mental health condition, you kind of let go of many things that you thought are normal, but they're not for you. And it's hard to explain the difference between the mental health condition and personality, especially for people who do not know how you was before before it happened. It had been before it happened. Okay. See, I do not go to the end of the sentence when I start saying it, and it just. Okay, so we have the outline right here. So sometimes, for many people, there are stages in life when they're going through, okay, this is the stage, high school and after university, and then working, right? And then for a lot of women, it's having children and getting a little bit out and off everything that was going on before. And it's time when you put all your energy into something that is totally new to you, right? And before it, you don't think you don't know. Like okay, that's some education too, right? So when you are at the hospital and the nurses teach you everything, because there are programs, but you still are not there. So are you supposed to actually know everything and attend a program? So many people do not attend any programs, and then in one day they just show you quickly on how to do it, and you know. So it means that a lot of people who think they have to, because that's the way they're used to learn, and then some people just don't have time. Like I worked till month 8, and I had no option to actually go to any of this. I even didn't think about that because working was a lot for me. So the biggest difference I can tell about people who have mental health conditions are that they usually are getting tired more easily than other people, and it's hard to say where it comes from sometimes. So it could be just a period of life they went through and they're still getting their mind back, but when it is for more than a year and you're on medications and everything, that's where it's just a permanent thing already. So it's really hard to actually start recovering because people expect it to be really fast. And for some people it is fast because that depends on what it had been. But then it doesn't stop, and it's every day challenge. And people are used to live day by day, and then it's hard to switch to actually planning things. And that's what I'm still experiencing by some point. All right, so what are we doing? Oh, Mika, you got it?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I decided to.
So a gun. So in this case, I don't know if it goes a little beyond. We could just paint around, and I would not say it's supposed to be Okay. So art is art, right? For many people, they don't know what this bear would use. I would just make this yellow, as in many images, on this image it's yellow. But if this bear,
Down where it was.
if this bear was learning, what was that? White was for art? I think it was white. Get my memory. How many times I heard it, I read it, and I don't remember. Oh.
Go.
All right.
Pictures for you.
Thank you.
Well, I have to head out.
Mhm.
Thank you for hosting that.
Thank you.
Here's the. We did it. So
Oh, that's
that's for anybody that does like Legally Blonde. This is what it's a little different, but that's what I created just because.
And sign it in the back. Don't forget to sign it.
Oh goodness.
Sign it in the back. Here.
Let's see. I'll just do my little. There you go. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
there you are.
So we did it rock. Then we have a cute bear from Faye. Oh, it's cute. It is cute. And I'm making this, I'm going to resin this one. This one can be worked on. You know, when I start working on something and I don't feel it, it's really hard to keep going. I mean, yeah, it's not there yet, and I'm hoping it will be there very soon. I'm expecting it. My expectation is not high. I can do it. I had a bigger brown, but this is more convenient to me. There is this one. It's the same exact. May I have it for a second? It's this exact same color, supposed to be. And then what do I do with it when it does not go on the first layer? I just add another layer and another layer and then outline. So when I work on something like that, acrylic would cover it completely, but acrylic, I don't know, for myself, that would be quite a challenge to work with acrylic today. I don't know, I cannot really explain it. It just, everything was too hard for me lately. And I would work with acrylic, but it didn't happen. There was that one day when I felt like my whole mind and body melted. And it was extremely hot and I could not get up the whole day for some reason. I am supposed to be over it already, but Okay, up cute there. What time is it now?
It's 2:15.
2:15. So I think we can wrap up, and then I will just color it in. Again, as you see from the first layer, the result, and I smudged it and I need to fix it, right? So it's not the way I usually see it. I usually see it as a process, and I do not see it as an etap or a step or at all. I just keep working and that's it. So I do not, for myself, I would not see it as a step one. So the eyes are usually like that because I go around with a paint marker, because in any case, when I come to the later stage, I even them up, and usually eyes can move a little bit because I did not put them the way I want to. So it's not making a sketch and working exactly by what it was there. It's actually just keeping it really open and move things on the way rather than doing the sketch as many people would make. So yeah, I usually do not follow my own sketching, and I can add, remove detail. So this one, I did not add this detail yet because there is a reason, and it's obvious that you put white first and then draw something on top, but some people would draw it and go around it. I still didn't get to this. So again, I would not see step 1, step 2, step 3 here. We're still working on the text for the tutorial. I'm still going to pick up another rock and make all the photographs in a row and everything. I am not liking my camera's results so far. So that's something I was trying to work on, and you know, when things keep like not working out, and it's too much in a row, so I couldn't even handle simple tasks. I was just dropping them. So I need to actually return to the point where my mind starts taking the task as an easy task, because anywhere else I cannot function in, especially in art, I just cannot do that. So here, what I got for now, and you will see what happens with it. I keep working on it for some time, and then we will post photographs of the final result. Thank you so much for watching. I need to find the button. Oh, Mitra, do you know what the button is in the phone? Because I don't have the phone. Oh, sorry. Okay, I need to find a stop live button right here. Live. Oh, I have it. Bye-bye.